The sports generals are on patrol. I am Unger to the max. That right there is C-Boss. Jason is going to be joining us in a few minutes. He's just getting things set up at his usual recording spot. So today we are starting our NFL season preview since the preseason kicks off. I believe the first preseason games are actually tonight. Browns first preseason. Yeah, I think the NFC.
Yeah, I
Or
want to say it starts tonight with Titans, Ravens, and whoever the Patriots are playing. I believe it was the Lions.
that sounds right.
It was a blue. It was a team with a blue logo in the NFC.
Let's see. I'll double check.
All right.
It is the Giants and the Patriots, and
I
the Titans
knew it was
and
a
the
team with a blue.
Ravens.
I knew it was a team in the NFC with a blue logo.
That's a good start. Anyway, so we're going to divide this into two parts. So tonight we're previewing the NFC. So we're going to go through each division, and we're going to give you who we think's going to win the division, and then give you second through fourth place. And we may or may not do records. We'll see how the conversation and all that goes. But then we'll give you our final top seven. And then from there, we'll give you not all the playoff matchups, but we'll give you who we think's going to be in the NFC Championship. And then from there, who we think's going to be represent the NFC from the Super Bowl, which team will be the biggest disappointment based off of what they did last season, and which team do we think could be the biggest sleeper? Like, who could be which NFC team could be this year's Cincinnati Bengals? Make sense?
Yes, a team that went from last to first in their division and made the Super Bowl off of that.
Either that or nobody was talking about the Bengals as a legit Super Bowl contender last season. Nobody was.
Right, until around maybe week, what was it, 8 or 9, when they actually started popping off some wins.
Right, so that's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be a team that was in last place last season and is going to go to first, but maybe a team that nobody is talking about. For example, if your sleeper team is the Detroit Lions, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know, but that's the idea.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Quickly before we get into that, though, I didn't give you a clue last week. So your first clue was half dead. Your second clue was the color black. The clue for this week is the doctor will see you now.
That's a good clue.
You know exactly who or what I'm referring to with that clue. You know exactly what I'm referring to.
Well, I know exactly what you're referring to for all three clues, so it's not quite fair. We have to let the viewer guess.
Exactly, that's true. So, but it's gonna be quite the event. Let's get a little bit of the wrestling talk out of the way, actually, before Jason shows up, and then we'll get into the NFC preview and all that. So, CM Punk is back.
Yes, he is. What a show last night in Minneapolis, Minnesota. AEW Dynamite Quake by the Lake. Kicking things off was that insane coffin match between Darby Allin and Brody King. With the House of Black and Sting getting involved. Sting having a black eye from getting blacklisted by Malachi on the 20th of July, I believe that was.
It was on a previous episode of Dynamite. But the weird thing about the match was that you knew Sting was going to show up at some point because he always does, or seemingly always does with a Darby Allin match. But he didn't come down the rampway. He was in the damn coffin.
Yeah,
What?
no, he showed up in the coffin when I believe that was Buddy Matthews. Good to see him finally returning. I don't know what like was he out with injury? Was he just not being used by Malachi at the time?
No
But
injury from what I've heard.
okay, so it was injury. But he opens up the coffin and Sting is there with a baseball bat.
Yes. And with the way the story was going, it made sense with the ending. I I kind of would have preferred Brody King to win though. So he feels like, not to say that he feels illegitimate, but at the same time, I get it. It's a gimmick match, so I understand
Yeah.
that. But
And I mean Darby sorry.
I would have preferred Brody King to
Yeah.
win. Like
I mean Darby
he's this big monstrous figure. Like, establish him as a monster.
right. And Darby won the only way he realistically could, that being to choke him out with a chain.
Right. Which that followed along with the storyline, because that's kind of how this whole feud started. Because it was on the Rampage show following following Blood and Guts. So they had the double rings in place. So what they did is they called it a Royal Rampage or something, with the winner earning a title shot at the interim world champion, Jon Moxley. And it came down to Brody King and Darby. And the way Brody King won, he literally they're on the ring apron. Brody has Darby just choked out like that. And Darby just goes out. Brody King dropped him. Brody won.
Yeah. So that's how this whole thing started. And then after a match from the Kings of the Black Throne, which is the tag team of Malachi and Brody King, as they were walking back to the backstage area, after that match, Darby jumped Brody King and started beating on him as Malachi and Sting were staring each other down. And then during a proper singles match between Darby and Brody, Sting and Malachi got involved, in which Malachi spit the black mist into Sting's face. I didn't think it actually hit him in the eye, but according to yesterday, it did.
Correct. And just to me, Brody King won that singles match.
Yes, he won it the same exact way he won the Rampage Royal, by choking Darby out.
Correct, but he didn't drop him off the side of the ring apron to win. He pinned him
Right.
1, 2, 3.
Right.
Or he might have won via submission. I'd have to go back and watch.
I actually don't remember.
It was one of the two, though. Anyway, so then after that, we had the Lucha Brothers versus Andrade El Idolo and Rush. It was a tornado tag team match, meaning that
no tags.
Correct, no tags.
All 4 fighters in the ring.
That is correct.
And that was an insane ending where I believe it was Rush tied Penta El Cero Miedo's mask to the ropes, meaning that if he wanted to get to his brother Rey Fenix in time to stop a pin, he would have to lose his mask. And then when Alex Abrahantes, I believe that's how you say his name,
something like that, yeah,
tried to give Penta another mask because he's the manager of the Lucha Brothers, Andrade grabbed it and threw it into the crowd.
Correct. But we're going to have to put the wrestling talk on hold because the third general is here. We got Jason.
Yo.
How you doing?
Hello.
Fellas, how's it going?
It's going all right. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm here out of town, in Atlanta, Georgia. and here seeing family, so I'm trying to get acclimated here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually, speaking of being out of town, I don't know if I'll be able to do the show next week because I'll be coming back from St. Louis.
Oh, okay. Well, we might be able to still figure something out in your absence, but we'll get to that later.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, we had a little bit of wrestling talk in the beginning, but we're here to preview the NFC. I think it's NFC is short for National Football Conference.
That is correct.
Okay. So, we're going to go through each division, give you who we think's going to win the division, second, third, fourth, and we can do records if we want to. If we don't, that's fine as well. However, we'll do East, South, North, West, and then we'll do the 7 teams that we in the order, and then NFC Championship, and then who we think is going to be the biggest disappointment, and then who could be this year's sleeper team. Not necessarily to make the Super Bowl, but the team that nobody's talking about that could end up making a lot of noise.
Okay.
Okay. So let's start with, as I said, the NFC East. I don't know about you guys, but I got the Eagles winning this division.
I actually agree.
That was my pick to win as well, was the Eagles.
Okay. I've got the Eagles winning this division at 12-5.
Ooh.
I have the Cowboys coming in second at 10-7. I've got the Washington Commanders coming in third at 8-9, and the New York Football Giants at 5-12.
All right.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm actually probably would flip flop. I mean, the only difference with my selection probably would be instead of having the Cowboys second, I probably had them third, and I had the Commanders ahead of them.
Okay.
Interesting.
So you would go Eagles, Commanders, Cowboys, Giants.
Yeah, and it's still not like, okay, for those that's viewing, they're still not one of those elite divisions yet. So it'll probably be a crappy, like the top seed really is a wild card, but because they're in the NFC lease, they'll probably end up getting a potential bye week or a home game because they won that division. But yeah, I got the Eagles absolutely taking that division for sure.
All right. What about you, Chris? How do you
so my flip flop goes the other way. I have the Giants over the Commanders.
Okay.
I just think that with Carson Wentz, with how injury prone he has been in his career, and playing at FedEx Field, where a lot of quarterbacks seem to get potentially career-ending injuries, it's a recipe for disaster. And so I've got the Eagles I'm going to go 11-6. I've got the Cowboys at 9-8. Or actually, no, 9-7-1. I have them in a tie.
Okay.
The Giants at 5-10-1. They tie with the Cowboys.
All right.
No. 5-11-1. Sorry, I had to look at the record here.
Okay.
And then I have the Washington Commanders in dead last at 2-15.
Wow.
I didn't do any records.
That's fine.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we don't have to do records. We can just do 1-4. I'm fine. I'm cool with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to throw a record there because, my picks would make a lot of my picks would make more sense if I threw out how many wins I think they're going to get.
Right. All right. So NFC South next. I got Tampa Bay 1. I know they've got a couple injuries like Chris Godwin. Don't know if Mike Evans is going to be 100%, but Tampa Bay still has a ferocious defense. They still have Levante David, Antoine Winfield, Shaq Barrett. They've just brought in Akeem Hicks. And of course they have Tom Brady.
Yeah.
It always helps.
Yes.
I got for the. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. I have New Orleans coming in second.
Ooh.
I have Atlanta third, and then Baker Mayfield and the Carolina Panthers in last.
That's interesting, man. Yeah, you know, it's interesting. Yeah, and I think we might be kind of similar in my rankings because I do have Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but I don't think that they're going to be the Buccaneers of the past, like the Super Bowl Buccaneers for sure. They're not going to be like them, and they're not going to be like last year's team. So they'll squeak it out. They'll be solid this season, but I don't see them advancing past the second round, possibly. But then after them, it's pretty much going to fall into the Saints, then the Falcons, and then I will have the Panthers coming in last. But that's going to be pretty much a close division, similar to what the NFC East is.
Okay. I actually have the Buccaneers winning that division, if I'm doing the math right, by 3 games.
Ooh.
Okay. What you got, Chris? Any different?
I do have a difference. I have my number one's the Buccaneers. My number two is actually the Panthers.
Really? You think Baker Mayfield and Christian McCaffrey can carry that team to second place in the division?
It's not going to be a good second place. It's going to be a definitely missing the playoffs second place. But I still think that because of how inconsistent Jameis is and has been, and Marcus Mariota is not a good quarterback. I don't care what anyone says. He was never good. Baker Mayfield at least had one good season.
I mean, Marcus Mariota, I think, had some decent years while he was with Arthur Smith in Tennessee, who he's going to be paired with again in Atlanta.
I mean, he had good defenses, but when he was the starting quarterback in his rookie season, I think they were like dead last in the league, first overall pick. And he also was benched for Ryan Tannehill.
That
the
is true.
Essence of mediocre.
We can talk about that more when we get to the AFC preview show next week. So stay tuned for that.
I have the Buccaneers. I have the Panthers. I have I have Atlanta winning the first overall pick sweepstakes.
Okay.
I have them dead last in the league.
Oh, wow.
I just have no faith in Marcus Mariota. And, with Calvin Ridley being suspended a whole year, you lose your best weapon.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
they got Kyle Pitts, though. Kyle Pitts.
They got Kyle Pitts, but I think he's going to get hit by the one thing every rookie dreads, the sophomore slump.
What about the rookie they drafted, the rookie wide receiver they drafted, Drake London?
I think he's going to be unproven this year.
Okay. So, all right, that's NFC South. Let's do NFC North next. I think we all agree with first place in the division. It's Green Bay, right?
No.
Actually, I disagree.
Yeah, I do too.
All right, wait. Before you guys tell me, I'm going to guess you both have Minnesota.
I have Minnesota.
I do too, yeah. I think Minnesota going to take that division.
All right.
It's going to be a close race, but I've got Minnesota winning it.
Yeah. All right. I've got Green Bay beating Minnesota in the division by 1 game. I have Green Bay at 11-6, and I have the Vikings at 10-7. So
I have Minnesota at 12-5, and I have Green Bay at 12-4-1.
You got a lot
what
of ties.
is it with you and all these
So
ties?
A half game. I gotta be realistic here. Every season has had at least multiple ties.
I can't stand ties either, man.
They are annoying.
They're not fun. I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate from soccer fans for this, but leave the tying to soccer.
Oh, Colin would hate you for that.
Oh, I know. I
All right.
know.
They didn't have a top sudden death. I mean, it's they need
Or
to
do
read this.
overtime how they do it in college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To a degree, because that sometimes them games be like 6 hours long. And like,
Oh, yeah. And then you got the 2002 Fiesta Bowl, which went multiple overtimes, and it was a championship game.
Yeah, they got.
Yeah.
But them ties got to, like, if anything, okay, let's say it comes, okay, you're doing your overtime like you do currently, but let's say it's 0-0. I mean, it's no one scores. I say do it all over again. Like, you got to keep doing it until somebody wins. But when you get to the next phase of it, whoever scores first wins. So something like that.
Okay.
I actually had a different idea for how we could tackle getting rid of ties. After overtime, if no one has scored, let's take a page out of soccer and do a field goal off, like have it be from different distances and see who can keep kicking without missing.
That's interesting.
I know it. I know the saying is any given Sunday, but if you're playing Baltimore and that scenario were to happen, you might as well just go home because you're facing Justin Tucker.
Who has the longest field goal kick in NFL history?
Right.
Yes. Hey.
At least in confirmed NFL history.
Right. He hit that field goal against Detroit, who I actually have finishing third in the NFC North, falling
Really?
one game short of double digits. I have Detroit at 9-8.
I have Chicago in third, but it's more like a 5-12 third.
That's funny. I have the Bears at 4-13.
I have Detroit at 3-14.
Here's my reasoning with Detroit playing them in third. If you watched all their games last season, or a majority of their games, they were in every single one. They had an opportunity to win just about every single game. So you can tell they're starting to put something together. They're still a few years away. I don't think Jared Goff is the quarterback that's going to take them where they want to ultimately go. That being said, I like the direction Detroit is going in. So.
Yeah, but I mean, that franchise, if not even Matthew Stafford could get you to a Super Bowl, do you have any hope? I mean, we saw what happened with Matt Stafford in his first year away from Detroit.
You're right, though. No Matt Stafford. It's a 0.
Yeah, but think about who Matt Stafford had around him with LA. Cooper Kupp, Van Jefferson, Odell,
He had a squad.
Yeah.
He had a nice team around him. But remember who he had in Detroit for a while? He had Calvin Johnson.
That is true. He did have Megatron.
And he had on his defense Ndamukong Suh. Was there anyone else on that defense but Ndamukong Suh?
That was really I mean, they had some nice cornerbacks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, that was pretty much their name brand.
We'll get back to like NFC previews in a minute, but I get it. Like, it's tradition that the Detroit Lions and Dallas Cowboys always host a game on Thanksgiving. But seriously, like, the Cowboys never seem to win a home game on Thanksgiving. Neither do the Lions. Can we change it up? Like, have other teams host on Thanksgiving. I know, like, we have that third game that's Sunday Night Football, which this year is the Patriots and the Vikings. So that's gonna be
football, yeah.
That's gonna be a meh matchup. But I'm just like, how about instead of Detroit playing, I don't know, Houston, why not have the Steelers play the Browns on Thanksgiving? You know?
Oh yeah, do like big rivalry matches that people actually like to see.
From a player standpoint, though, you got to look at it as so a lot of those players want to they rather be at home with the families versus working. You know what I mean? And you could look at it from an angle of, hey, maybe the Lions, until they get their act together, they deserve to work holidays. But it's
Yeah,
like,
fair enough.
glass
Fair
glass
enough.
half full, half empty. It's like, who wants to watch that? I'd rather put that game on at like 12, get that out the way, and then let everything else play itself out because Lions is terrible.
Yeah. So the 3 Thanksgiving games this year, it's Buffalo at Detroit.
Ooh, that's
Oh
gonna be
well,
a massacre.
yeah, it will. The line, okay, the Lions was on Hard Knocks. I just got a feeling that they may not be as bad as we are anticipate. But yes, either way you look at that, they're getting routed by the Bills.
Yeah. And then the Cowboys are hosting the Giants.
Okay, well, in the division.
Yeah. And then the nightcap is Patriots Vikings.
That's cool. I could dig that.
I mean, none of those matchups are like, oh my God, I got to sit down in front of the TV and watch these games. Like, these are going to be exciting games.
Yeah.
At least on paper. I'm just like, how am I supposed to get excited for that? Like, if the Bills were playing at the Ravens on Sunday Night Football,
Ooh.
Josh Allen against Lamar Jackson,
Sign me up.
Exactly. Like, that's MVP against MVP. That's Super Bowl favorite against a team projected to be back near the top of the AFC North. Like, that could be a possible.
Wait, MVP versus MVP, but Josh Allen has not won an MVP yet. Remember, the last 2 MVPs went to Aaron Rodgers.
Oh yeah, you're right. My bad.
Which is stupid because Josh Allen should have won last year's MVP.
Okay, let me rephrase. MVP favorite. I would say Josh Allen is favorite to win MVP against MVP. So like,
yeah,
doesn't that sound more intriguing than Patriots Vikings?
I agree.
On paper, it do, but you never know. Like that's that's about game 7 or 8 around that about Thanksgiving time. So we kind of got a snapshot on teams that's going to be good and teams that's not, and never know there could be some shockers.
That's true.
Yeah,
that'll be week 12 of the season.
Oh, week 12. Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. So you already is 3/4 in. You know what I mean? So you kind of know who's going to be good, who's not, and who's to say that we might not have a shocker. And I'm hoping because it's good for the foot. It's good for the NFL and it's good for the world in general. It makes it a better
Yeah.
place if the Lions is good. So if the Lions is good and they're going against the Bills at that time, hell, they might want to think about flexing that out to the night time game for the first time in Detroit history. But we'll see.
I mean, they're not going to flex. Detroit's going to always host the new Thanksgiving game.
It's probably
Dallas,
and then the Cowboys always have like the 5 o'clock game or 4:30 game or whatever it is.
right.
That's
And
cute.
then we have we have 3 Christmas games. Packers
Ooh.
at Dolphins. That's going to be a pretty good game, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Broncos at Rams. Hell yes.
Oh, give me that.
Yeah, it's good.
And then the nightcap is Buccaneers Cardinals. Pretty good.
Yeah, they could move that to the early game. I'd rather watch that. Should be the 1 o'clock game out of all the games you just named.
Yeah, but it's it's in Arizona though.
Oh, we'll make it to the 4 o'clock game.
Yeah. Swap the Rams with the swap the Rams game with the Cardinals game, and you've got yourself a Christmas.
Yeah, that's it right there.
I think it's interesting that the NFL is starting to put games on Christmas because clearly they're trying to compete with the NBA.
Well, they don't even. I wouldn't even say they compete with the NBA. They just take their money from the NBA because NFL is always going to be the Kings, and
Oh,
it doesn't
yeah.
matter if it's a damn preseason game. It's going to get more ratings than NBA playoff game. That's just the way the nature of the beast rolls. So it's just greed. You know what I mean? Like first they went from barely being on Christmas to now having one game to now they about to have a triple header on Christmas. That used to be the same day that the NBA always would have like they big lineup. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
5 games on one day. So yeah, they're just stealing money, man. Cash
I-
grabs.
Speaking of that, I actually just wrote an article for the King James Gospel page on Fanside. I think the Cavaliers are going to be hosting a game on Christmas this season. I've got them playing the Hawks on Christmas in Cleveland.
Ooh,
You usually
in
have that with your
Cleveland.
schedule predictions too. So I hope that does come to fruition.
Yeah. The reason I did that was because last season, the Knicks hosted the Hawks on Christmas after the Atlanta eliminated the Knicks at Madison Square Garden in the playoffs the previous season. So I'm like, okay, the NBA is going to follow the same philosophy. Since the Hawks eliminated the Cavs in Cleveland, the NBA will say, all right, let's have the Hawks play at the Cavaliers on Christmas.
Yeah,
I mean, that logic makes sense to me anyway.
makes sense to me. I got no problems with it.
I'll see your thought.
Heck, I'll try and get tickets.
I don't.
Probably gonna be ridiculously expensive though.
Yeah.
A Christmas Day game in Cleveland.
Hey, Santa Claus have delivered the money by the end, so shouldn't
Yeah.
be
No,
that much.
fair enough.
Yeah. I don't think I'll be in town for that. I'm pretty sure I'll be down in South Florida. Not Miami, Palm Beach, actually. I got family down there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I would love
Did I-
to go to that Packers Dolphins game.
I don't even think I gave my prediction for NFC North yet. I don't believe.
Oh no,
No, you
didn't.
haven't given
No, I
your
didn't.
full.
Yeah, I was just thinking like, wait a minute. I don't think I gave mine. Okay,
Hey,
so
that's how it happens sometimes. We get off on conversations like that.
absolutely.
Fair enough.
So yeah, so for the NFC North, I do got Minnesota Vikings taking that division. And so I want to throw a monkey wrench into the plans. The Bears is going not to be good, in my opinion, right? But I don't see them separating themselves from the other two teams that I'm about to mention. So Detroit might get in second place in that division, followed strongly, if not the same record, a half a game out, but the Green Bay Packers, of course. And then I had the Bears like a few games behind those two. But I have the Lions actually shocking a lot of people this year.
So you have Detroit coming in second?
The way it sounds when you say that, no, I'm actually going to flip flop. No, I'm gonna have the Packers ahead of them. I tried, Detroit. I tried, man, but I can't.
All right.
Oh man.
Yeah,
All right.
tough.
So you have it: Vikings, Packers, Lions, Bears.
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. I had it: Packers, Vikings, Lions, Bears. So we agree on everything except the order of the Packers and the Vikings.
And then I'm the odd duckling who has Vikings, Packers, Bears, Lions.
Okay. So we did the NFC East. We did the NFC North. NFC South is done. That leaves the NFC West. We all have Rams number 1, I'm assuming.
I see no problems with that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. I'm going to assume we all have the Seahawks last.
Depending on what the 49ers do with Jimmy G,
Oh
then
no,
yeah.
I'm lying. Actually, hold on. Let's backtrack. I don't agree with what you said about the Rams.
Really?
Really?
Not the 49ers taking that division.
What?
With Jimmy Garoppolo or Trey Lance at the helm.
given everything else they have in place, yes, I know they're going to have Trey Lance, who, from what earlier reports is saying, he isn't even completing 51% of his throws, which is absolutely concerning. But if you take that part
Yes.
away, okay, and if they do a typical, if they run a typical system that they always run, which is the run first, ground and pound, play actions, then throw. But you got Trey Lance instead of Jimmy Garoppolo. He's definitely going to do a lot more running than throwing, but that's going to be a beast to stop. And the Rams, they may be coming off of Super Bowl layoff, who knows? But I do see the 49ers taking that division that year. Rams are absolutely second place. Both of those two teams could potentially win double digits anyway. Okay. So they both win double digits. It's just 49ers may beat them in the regular season and get the upper edge because of that. But yeah, I see those two teams struck or battling out, but 49ers edging them out. And then the bottom line was, yes, Seahawks absolutely is 4. And then Arizona trying to get a wild card team, but we're not sure if they'll get it, but we'll see.
Okay. I've got Rams 1 at 13-4. I've got the 49ers at 8-9. So I only have the Rams getting above 500 in the NFC West. I don't see any other team getting above 500. Not the 49ers, not the Cardinals, and certainly not the Seahawks. I have the Seahawks actually coming in at 3-14.
Oh, wow.
The second worst record in all of football.
I have them getting the 2 overall pick in my thing as well.
Yeah. That's absolutely realistic.
We'll get to the AFC. We can do the AFC next week, but small spoiler, I have the Houston Texans winning 1 game. 1. That's it.
Damn.
Wow.
It's tough.
1-16 for the Houston Texans.
That's tough.
Damn.
Yeah, it's a grind.
Yeah. All right. So we went through our division winners and wait, what?
I haven't made my NFC West predictions yet.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
That's all right. So I have the Rams winning. I have the Cardinals in second.
Even with DeAndre Hopkins suspended, Hollywood Brown just got arrested, and Kyler Murray. I know other short quarterbacks have done well, but Kyler Murray can't see over the offensive line.
That's cheap.
That's a low blow there.
That's real cheap.
That's a low blow, man. Come on.
Oh, come on.
He's the same height he's 1 inch shorter than Russell Wilson.
Ay.
1 inch.
He got the athleticism though to
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Cardinals are in second.
Yeah.
And they have
he got a lot to prove this year.
He's got a lot to prove, and I think Kyler Murray is a breakout year. And actually, I have him winning the MVP.
Okay.
He has kind of a Lamar Jackson 2019 kind of season.
Oh, geez. Cardinals are going to have to play really well then for Kyler to win MVP.
I have them playing extremely well. And I actually have them making some blockbuster trades at the deadline. Bringing in some actual receiver help for Kyler.
Interesting. Okay.
They may not have to, though. Now, keep in mind, yes, Hopkins is going to be suspended for, 6 games, I believe?
6 games, yes.
Yeah, so, after those 6 games, then it ain't going to really get any balls to throw.
Yeah, and then I have the 49ers in third. Depending on what they do with Jimmy Garoppolo, I think they might lose a few more games with Trey Lance. I just think hasn't proven himself yet, and he might not be the best option for them at this moment.
Okay.
And then I have the Seahawks in dead last. I also have them with the second worst record behind the Falcons.
All right. So that's our NFC predictions for the divisions. Of course, we know how it works from here. You gotta go 1 to 7 of like who gets the 1 seed, who gets 2 seed, 3 seed, 4 seed. You know the whole deal. So
Yeah.
I got Rams as the 1 seed. I got Buccaneers 2, Eagles 3, Packers 4, Vikings 5. So they get the first wild card. I got the Dallas Cowboys getting the second wild card, and New Orleans gets the third wild card.
Ooh.
And then I've got the NFC Championship being the Rams against the Packers.
Ooh. Now, who do you have winning that?
I think the Rams will come back down to earth eventually, but right now they're still on top of the mountain, so I got the Rams.
All right. So here's my 1 to 7. I have my Rams at number 1. Well, not my Rams, but the Rams at number 1. I have the Buccaneers at 2. I have the Vikings at 3. Eagles at 4. At the 5 is the Cardinals. They get the first wild card spot. I have the Packers at 6. They get the second wild card spot. And then at 7, I'm trying to think of who I had. I have the Panthers actually getting a wild card spot.
What?
I have the Panthers getting the final wild card spot.
Did you say they was going to come in last place in their division? Though?
No, I said they were going to be second in the NFC South.
Okay, my bad.
Wow, yeah.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
So give me your NFC Championship.
My NFC Championship is also going to really piss off a lot of people. I have Buccaneers, Eagles.
And who wins?
The Rams are going to be upset by the Panthers in round 2.
Oh, good God.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, not round 2, but like the wild card round.
Divisional round.
No. Wait, who?
I mean, NFC Championship.
No, because wait, who are the Panthers? The Panthers would play the 2 seed. No, they get destroyed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they get destroyed in the wild card round by the Cardinals, and then I have the Cardinals losing to the Eagles. So Buccaneers, Eagles. Okay. I have the Eagles winning this one and going to the Super Bowl. It's going to be a huge upset.
What? Yeah. You have Jalen? What?
Hey, I tell you this: if somebody put a bet on that, they're gonna hit big because that will be one I don't see coming. Like,
oh yeah, no, I have the Eagles winning it. Do they win the Super Bowl? No, with my AFC pick, they're getting destroyed.
So you have, let me get this straight. You have Jalen Hurts beating Tom Brady.
Stranger things have happened. And remember, Tom Brady's biggest weakness in his career in big games has been the NFC East.
That is true. He's only beaten the NFC East once in the Super Bowl.
And that was Super Bowl 39 against the Eagles.
Correct. Otherwise, he's 1-3 against the NFC East in the Super Bowl because he lost both to the Giants in Super Bowl 42 and 46, and then he lost to the Eagles in Super Bowl 52.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got Eagles, Buccaneers. I had Rams. I had Rams, Packers. And then who did you have, Jay?
All right, so I have the number 1 seed actually going to the Minnesota Vikings in the NFC. I have the second team being the 49ers.
Okay.
Third team probably will be Philadelphia. And then that fourth team is going to be Tampa Bay. Now, for that wild card, the first wild card, I'm going to go to the Rams. I
Mhm.
see the second wild card actually going to the Cardinals. And then that final wild card, I could see. I'm gonna go. Well, no. Let me backtrack. The second wild card is gonna go to the, and then I want to go to the Cardinals.
Okay.
And then out of all of those 7 teams, I got Minnesota playing against. After that all plays out, Minnesota probably playing against the Rams if it plays out that way, and the Rams potentially beating them. Either the
Okay.
Rams or the 49ers, but it's the NFC West eh, versus the and whoever comes out the West is going to beat the Vikings in the playoffs. They just ain't got that
Okay.
experience yet.
So you have who either the Rams or 49ers going to the Super Bowl then.
Yes,
Fair.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Gotcha. Okay. So those are our predictions for the NFC. We'll do the AFC next week. We could do a whole freaking 2-hour show about the AFC. My God.
Oh yeah, no, that's gonna be a fun one.
Maybe we will make that a
Yeah,
2-hour show because, good God, like, you could, with
The
the
amount of
AFC West,
talk, tangents, the amount
yes,
of arguments over no, this quarterback's gonna start. No, this quarterback's gonna start. The whole Deshaun Watson debacle.
actually,
we definitely
like
have
I
to think
said, you,
about it.
yeah, we might have to delay the AFC until not next week, but the week after, since I won't be here next week,
Oh
probably.
yeah.
So you guys will have to hold down the fort for me
Yeah,
while
we'll
I'm
hold it.
gone next week.
That
We'll
should
figure it
work.
out. We'll put something together.
Yeah, I trust you.
Yeah.
But maybe for the AFC show, we will go the full 2 hours. But with this show, we got about 20 minutes. So, excuse me, give me your team that maybe they're not going to like go to the Super Bowl and be this year's Cincinnati Bengals. But who's that team that nobody's talking about where you're like, this team this is a team everybody should watch out for because they could make some noise.
Mhm.
It's my NFC champion pick, Eagles.
Yeah, and I want to make sure we just talking about NFC teams, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. All right, you got the floor. I'm sorry.
Okay. For me, it's Detroit. I think the Lions, I said this earlier, they were in a lot of the games they lost last season. It's not like they got blown out.
Yeah,
Right.
So
on the
I don't
rise.
do I think the Lions are gonna shock the world and go to the Super Bowl? No, I don't believe in Jared Goff like that. But I think they could be a pain in the butt to play against, and they could shock a lot of people. Maybe they do get into the playoffs. You never know.
I think the team to watch out for would be the Minnesota. Like, and I keep stressing this. Minnesota Vikings is a team you absolutely got to watch out for, man. They got a new coaching style. And, I mean, they got a new coach, but with that new coach comes a new offensive style. They traditionally have been a defensive team, like defense first, offense second. But now they got an offensive friendly coach. They already had the pieces from last year with Dalvin Cook. And then I know Kirk Cousins. He's bland. He's solid. He can do it just enough, but he doesn't make that many mistakes, and that's one thing that um, actually helps the Vikings in the long run. So they're not turning the balls over. They already have a traditional good defense as it is. I could definitely see them wreaking havoc in the NFC for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
here the only reason I'll push back is because of their quarterback, Kirk Cousins.
Mhm.
I I just don't trust him. I feel like I know in the past he's cut down on mistakes, but still, I feel like
It's Kirk
it's the
Cousins.
it's
Still.
exactly it's Kirk
Right.
Cousins. You're like, okay, Kirk Cousins, like lead us down the field. We need a big drive right here and 3 and out, or oh, Kirk Cousins, why did you try throwing that ball into double coverage? I know it's Adam Thielen, but you had Justin Jefferson wide open.
Prime time games, he can't win the seams. Yeah, I definitely understand the voice of concern for sure.
Right.
I mean, I have my criticisms about it as well, but I think if the Vikings in his scenario are to be that team, that number one seed in the NFC, if they got the pieces, they know how to put them together. Who's to say they don't make noise?
I mean, here's the thing. I wouldn't be be shocked if Minnesota did something like that. I don't know about number one seed because I really like their skill position players. Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson. I think Justin Jefferson's going to take a huge step forward this season and become one of the top receivers in the NFL. Dalvin Cook's a great running back. But again, I'm on the fence about Kirk Cousins. I'm questionable about the Vikings defense. Like, I know Mike Zimmer fell off a cliff the last couple of seasons, but I'm like, Minnesota, is your defense going to be where it needs to be?
That's definitely
they
a
got
valid
or
concern.
Right. I know. Kevin O'Connell is their new head coach, Rams offensive coordinator. Yeah. So I'll give the Vikings their chance. I'm not completely
from the Hall of Famers.
right. I'm not writing the Vikings off by any means. Yeah, don't take
it's
it
just
like
if okay. One thing we learned about, and this is just in general, this is just traditional down the line. Anyone that comes from Sean McVay's coaching tree, they run a similar pattern of a lot of they have a lot of let's say they come to the line, a lot of people, a lot of movement, okay, and they do a lot of time and pattern passes, so a lot of slants, a lot of quick throwing, right? You rarely see them just hiking the ball and just yakking it down 60 yards. They're going to time it. And that fits right into Kirk Cousins' strength because, yeah, he may not be the most acrobatic quarterback that we can name in at least top 25, but he can make some timing throws consistently, and that's something that would definitely pay off to his strength. And then we got Jefferson, who, like you alluded to, he's a star living to make it. You get him the ball, let him be you get him the ball, he's gonna he'll mess around and get like 15, 20 yards just off of his pure talent alone. And then if you're throwing a lot of dump offs to Dalvin Cook or just doing draws or something similar, he's going to break the lead for about 50, 70 yards easily. So it's going to pay into his strengths for sure, having those type of moving pieces in that offense now.
That is true. By the way, quick update in the Field of Dreams game, because that is happening tonight. Cubs lead the Cincinnati Reds 3-0.
And no one was surprised about that.
Oh, what inning is it?
Because it's the Reds.
They was giving it to the Yankees for some weird reason.
Yeah,
that was where that came from.
Yeah, that was last year. It was the Yankees and the White
Sox.
I'm
talking about the Reds when they was playing against the Yankees this season.
I don't know.
Reds
no. For some reason, the Reds are surprisingly good against the Yankees, but unsurprisingly bad against everyone else.
So, Cubs scored all 3 of their runs in the first inning. So right now it's 3-0. So
what inning is it again?
It is just reached the bottom of the 3rd inning.
Okay. So it's still early.
Correct. It is still early. So we got about 5 minutes left in the show. You know what we always do at the end of every show on Thursdays. Therapy Thursday. You can talk about whatever you want. It doesn't have to be sports related, but it can be. So anyone got a Therapy Thursday?
Oh God, do I?
I know I got one. And while you guys is thinking and coming up with one, my trip down here, I learned a lot about driving, right? Freeway driving, instinctive driving, and one thing that really just grinds my gears is when you're driving and there's only 2 lanes on the freeway. And, right? Even though you don't look their way, just going along with your family, business as usual. And then this jerk want to like start the speed, right? Because he sees a slow truck ahead, and they're not going to want to let you over. So then it becomes a contest, and it's like what the hell what are we doing? Like, and not only that, okay, the speed limits will be 75 miles an hour in Kentucky. Go to Tennessee, it drops all the way down to 65, right? And then at the end of Tennessee, it's down to 55. And it's like, is this just a cash grab for the state troopers to get in money and just rake in billions of dollars? And what's up with the prideful drivers? It's just, what happened to driving? What happened to having a family one-time trip to a state and didn't have to worry about all of the propaganda that's associated with it? And it just really pisses me off.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you on that.
Right? Just fly
That's
next time.
Some people just don't know how to drive.
No, they do not. I work in retail. I work in the parking lot of a grocery store, and the amount of times I've always been run over by some jackass not looking behind them when they're backing out. Oh God.
Yeah. Let's see.
Oh, it's a preseason games on tonight too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Browns' first preseason game is tomorrow against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Actually, Deshaun Watson, if a ruling is not handed out by the time the game starts, then he will be starting that game.
Oh.
Word? Oh man, this will be interesting.
Yeah.
I have a feeling we're going to get a ruling before that, so I don't think you're going to see Deshaun Watson play tomorrow, but we'll see. But that's my Therapy Thursday. Stop leaving us fans in the dark. I know.
Thank you.
I know this whole situation is complicated, and you can't give us all the details because it's a whole he said, she said, and he said this, but he said this, and all this and that. I get it. And I get it. It's not as simple as he simply saying, yes, he's going to play, or no, he's not going to play. But at this point, this situation's been going on for what, 2 years? So just stop leaving us fans in the dark. Tell us what the heck is going on.
Stop doing this to us.
Yes, please. All right, I got a Therapy Thursday, and it's something I know Josh and I have talked quite a bit about, is athlete nicknames.
Yes. I know exactly where you're going with this.
So, I want to start with the big one. There used to be 2 indistinctive wide receivers in the AFC North with the same nickname, that being Hollywood. Rashard Hollywood Higgins of the Cleveland Browns and Marquise Hollywood Brown of the Ravens. Why? Okay, so which one's the real Hollywood?
Yeah, I was like Marquise. Higgins.
I actually gave it to Hollywood Higgins because he was in the league first.
Call him Beachwood Higgins.
Yeah, he.
Yeah, he ain't no Hollywood.
No, definitely. But specifically pertaining to combat sports, because some of those nicknames in the UFC are ridiculous.
I know exactly which nickname you're thinking of. As soon as we heard this nickname, you and I both started laughing our damn
No.
asses off.
Oh my God! So the UFC fighter's name is Miranda Maverick. Her nickname is Fear the. Her with the nickname and her last name, it's Miranda Fear the Maverick.
It's like a hell. That's very wow. Okay.
It's just ridiculous that. Oh, and then I don't remember her actual name, but there's a UFC fighter fighting, I believe, at an upcoming event with the nickname of Meatball.
Hey, it was a football player in football. I mean, he played for I think the Lions, but his name was called Snacks.
Oh yeah,
Snacks Harrison. Yes.
Yeah, I'm like it grown on me, but I feel you, man. It's like there's got to be some type of qualification. Like you have to be eligible to get a nickname of a thing.
Right.
You can't call yourself something. So, yeah.
Right.
And then obviously in wrestling, some fighters have nicknames like Stone Cold Steve Austin, which a UFC fighter is now attempting to copy.
Oh, you can't do that.
Unfortunately, he's from Cleveland. Stipe Miocic, former two-time UFC heavyweight champion, is now trying to call himself Stone Cold Stipe.
Oh.
Really? Why are you doing that? Huh. Come on.
I mean, he is one of the best UFC fighters in the world, and actually many MMA fan circles consider him the greatest heavyweight fighter of all time.
He can't do this thing, man. This will destroy everything he's worked for.
So, I agree. You cannot compare yourself to Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, and Steve, I'm not telling you to because you'll whip my ass. I'm just asking you politely, hey, reconsider it.
Yes, please, reconsider it. We have several nicknames picked out for you, right, Josh?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my favorite though, man. Stipe is. I can see why people is putting him as potentially the best Hall of Famer, well, the best heavyweight to come out of UFC because he didn't scare who he fought you.
There was a particular 5-fight run he had where a lot of the big names in MMA entertainment, like MMA On Point, MMA Junkie, this is where they started calling him the greatest. It was Andrei Arlovsky. Then it was his title bout against Fabricio Verdum. Okay. Then it was the first defense against Alistair Overeem. Then it was
that.
Yep. Then it was the rematch against Junior Dos Santos, which he won. And then the fight that really pushed him over the edge was the first Francis Ngannou fight.
Right. Yeah.
He's insane. I wish he would get in the cage more often, but, injuries.
Right. We're about to be on UFC 278.
And he hasn't fought since UFC 270.
Correct.
Which, by the way, I did hear some breaking news today that Stipe Miocic versus John Jones is in the works.
I sent that to you on Discord.
Yep. So we might be getting the youngest champion versus, or at heavyweight versus the greatest heavyweight.
Damn, that was I don't know how to take. I don't know how I feel about that. Wow.
Banger alert was the first word that came into my mind.
I mean, if they actually make that fight, it should be at least for the interim heavyweight title, if not for the vacant title.
If Ngannou decides, you know what, I'm done with the UFC, I'm out of here, I'll vacate this belt. Maybe someone else will do it. Maybe someone else will do something with it.
Yeah.
So I know Francis Ngannou and Dana White have been having issues, contract disputes. The amount of time Ngannou took off between winning the belt and his first defense, which was 10 months. It could be off-putting for a company to have one of their champions want to take, 10 months off at a time in between defenses.
I know this will never happen, but imagine if Francis Ngannou were to show up at all Elite Wrestling?
I would like it for Stipe to do that. That would be funny. So here's the setting I want to put down. August 24th in Cleveland, that Dynamite. Wardlow's cutting the nastiest promo of his career, calling himself the greatest combat sports athlete in the history of Cleveland. Then, lights go dark by the stage. Stipe's music hits. He walks out, grabs the mic from Wardlow and says, "You wanted me, you got me." Drops the mic.
I mean, hey, Chris and I are planning on doing a show the week of All Elite Wrestling Dynamite in Cleveland, and we are going to do a special Forbidden Door pay-per-view. We're not telling each other what matches are on our cards, but it's AEW versus WWE.
I have a special 2-day 22 match treatment for y'all.
So
y'all gonna have to tell us about this next episode for sure.
Yeah. So we'll get all the details figured out on that. But the deal is Chris and I are not telling each other where we would have this hypothetical pay-per-view happen. If all the champions are going to be defending their belts. We're not telling each other if there are any stipulations on the matches. We're not telling each other anything.
Just tell us, you'll have to tell us next episode, though, because I know we all a little bit over time now.
Yep.
So that's going to do it for this week's episode. We're leaving you with a bit of a cliffhanger. These two are going to hold it down next week. I'm trying to point at Jason and Chris. You know what I'm trying to say. I'll be in St. Louis coming back from a Cardinals game, actually, against the Rockies. So that'll be fun. My first time ever in St. Louis. But, yeah, so I'll be back on the show in a couple weeks. But until then, have a good rest of your Thursday. Hope you all have a great, fantastic weekend. Subscribe to C-Boss Gaming. Subscribe to Official Manalytics as usual. Subscribe to Unger to the Max. And most importantly, subscribe to the Sports Generals. Peace, everyone.
Peace.